Singapore is often praised for its prudent fiscal management and consistent budget surpluses. However, beneath this reputation lies a complex reality shaped by unique accounting practices. Under IMF guidelines, large transfers to endowment and trust funds are classified as pre-funded expenditures for future years. This means billions can be moved out of the operating budget without being counted as current spending, creating a fiscal illusion. Official budget may appear lean and disciplined, but in truth, significant resources have already been earmarked for future use. This approach diverges from how most countries report public spending and can make it difficult for citizens to understand how much is truly being spent on essential services like healthcare and pensions each year. As we take a closer look, it becomes clear that the story of Singapore's surplus is more complicated than it first appeared. Another key aspect of Singapore's fiscal model is how it handles land sales. Unlike most countries where land sales are treated as capital revenue and included in the fiscal balance, Singapore excludes this revenue from its annual budget. Instead, proceeds from land transactions are credited to past reserves, accessible only under strict conditions. This policy narrows the apparent fiscal space and shapes public perception of available resources. Practice, it means that while land sales are a significant source of income, they do not directly fund infrastructure or social programs as they might elsewhere. The impact is felt most acutely in public housing, where land costs are embedded in HDB flat prices, leading to higher valuations and a sense that citizens are paying for land twice. This approach, while disciplined, has contributed to ongoing debates about housing affordability and the true use of public funds. Singapore's budget also features large transfers to trust and endowment funds, such as the Community Silver Trust and GST Voucher Fund. These transfers are not counted as operating expenditure, making the budget appear leaner than it actually is. This dual accounting system raises important questions about transparency and accountability. How much is transferred each year? What returns are generated? Who oversees the disbursement of these funds? Answers remain largely opaque, leaving citizens with limited visibility into how their contributions are managed. This lack of transparency can erode public trust and complicate democratic accountability. When billions are moved off budget, it becomes harder for citizens to assess whether fiscal discipline is serving the public interest or simply justifying underinvestment in social well-being. Consequences of Singapore's fiscal approach are not just technical, they have a direct impact on citizens' lives. The CPF system, for example, channels retirement savings into government-managed investments, but the returns credited to members are often much lower than what the government earns. Public housing is priced to generate surpluses, with land costs forming a significant part of HDB valuation. Healthcare spending remains modest compared to the size of reserves, resulting in high out-of-pocket costs and widespread retirement insecurity. Many elderly Singaporeans continue working into their 70s, not by choice but out of necessity. These issues highlight a fiscal model that prioritizes accumulation and reserves over redistribution and resilience, raising important questions about the values embedded in national policy. Looking ahead, there are calls for reforming Singapore's fiscal narrative. Proposals including land sales and budget revenue, increasing direct spending on healthcare, pensions, and housing, and improving the transparency of trust funds and reserve management. Benchmarking CPF returns to actual investment performance and treating public housing as a social good rather than a profit center are also suggested. These reforms are not radical but align with global best practices and democratic norms. They represent a shift towards a citizen-first approach, where fiscal policy serves the people and not just the ledger. By rethinking fiscal priorities, Singapore can build a more inclusive and resilient society, ensuring that economic success translates into social well-being for all.